on over here that I'm like creating this, what do you call it, friction in a way that.
And just don't, all of that is a thought process. Mantra will erase all of this. When you mantra, you will dissolve. So then there can't be any others.
Okay.
In my own self, if I'm dealing or I go out with somebody, at work, for instance, I go to different offices and they may ask questions or whatever. And whenever there's any kind of tension of any kind, I know there's something in me because I'm both of these forms. I'm communicating with my own self. So I mantra. And then I start to observe how everything's happening, because if I am having an issue with someone else, then there is an I am somebody else, that beliefs and ideas, a very subtle ego is being formed and concepts are sticking. Mantra through this. So if somebody is coming and they're very difficult, like Andrew was saying, with the weddings and they want specific things and all this, and I start to get, why? Because I start to get, there seems to be a form. When I'm formless, all these things pass through and I have no worries. I'm totally unconcerned. But when a form starts to form and I am somebody else, mantra, and I know that an I am somebody else is being formed because there's this subtle, like, there's a bristling that I, who's being formed, and see it's a subtle thing. Because I could still say, okay, I know I'm not having a lot of thoughts, but like Sri Ramakant Maharaj says about the subtle bodies, I'm still in that kind of thought body. I'm not completely formless because I'm kind of taking form in this thought. I haven't yet totally touched with this body, but there's a thought, me, being formed. And I know this because there's some kind of friction between this form and that form that is my own self. And the only thing that can separate myself from myself is an idea or a concept.
Yeah. Yeah, that we buy into, and that we, however, if there's like something that, like on your job, supposing part of your job was to tell people they can't do something, you spot some fraud or something like that. That is still just doing your job, not making it, not making a person out of it. It's more like, oh, this phenomenon is happening and it's my job to point it out, or report the person to whoever, the higher authority is, because that's part of your job.
It's do your job, do your duties. And while you were speaking, Arjuna, Krishna came to Arjuna and said, go out there and do the battle. You have no choice. The battle is going to happen. You are going to fight. Don't take ego and pride in being some great warrior. Just what's in front of you, do that. So if I have to tell you some bad news, or if something is happening, I do my job, I do my duty, I do what's directly in front of me, but I don't do it in an adversarial you and me position. I do it just because it's my duty. Again, Arjuna had to go out and battle his guru and other people that he knew for a long time. And Krishna made it very clear, nobody's dying, but you must do your duty. You cannot not do your duty, because then you're taking ego as someone who doesn't want to do their duty. And you don't want to go rushing into battle, viciously attacking. You just allow what is going to be to be. You have no choice whether you fight or not. But the fight isn't a personal fight. The fight is just a general functioning of the whole totality. The only time that it's not a general functioning of the totality is when it's mind created. Because the truth is, whether you believe it is or not, it is. That's kind of, even if you believe, oh, I'm this separate person and I have to do this and this, but that's all part of the total functioning. So the more that you can release these ideas that I am somebody else somehow separate from this total functioning, and just like we were talking, when you're in a group and people are going this way and that way, you get to see, you get to witness the fact that you're part of the total functioning. All these things would have happened that way anyway, but you would have formed an I am somebody else who desired something other than the way it was happening and believed that somehow it could create an outcome other than what was.